Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Tuesday. Welcome. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio and computers and tablets and iPhones and whatever other digital devices you use to transport our voices into your ear holes. I am Rob. Howdy. On the other side of the glass from me, in charge of buttons, switches, levers, knobs, gears, pulleys, and other simple machinery, making the show sound as good as it does every day, ladies and gentlemen. He is the professor of perfection. He is Colonel Grudge. He is hashtag Dad Kicks. He is the conductor of the Symphony of Sound that is the Rob Brown Show. He is the alpha and the omega of the fan upstate. He is the great one, Lonzo. What up, Zo?
We everywhere, yo. So why don't you join us?
You should. You should. You should join us. Of course, on 97.7 FM in Greenville. You should join us on 97.1 FM in Spartanburg. You should, however, also join us on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. And that way, no matter where you are in the world, you pull up the Odyssey app, AUDACY. You search the Fan Upstate, and you listen to us anywhere you've got an internet connection and a digital device.
Hey, join the fleet of delivery drivers who listen.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to. I guess would it be a fleet?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Armada, because it sounds cooler.
Armada does sound cooler. You're right.
We are the official talk show of delivery drivers across the upstate. We found that out 2 Fridays ago when we were live at Hall of Fame Sports Bar and Grill, and we said something. Lonzo said, next person to show up in a truck gets a Fan Upstate trucker hat. And we had like 3 trucks show up in like 10 minutes. And then we started getting texts and Facebook posts from delivery drivers across the upstate going, yo, I'm listening too. We had a FedEx and a UPS driver over in the Berg. See, we're bringing everybody. We bring everybody together. We had an Amazon driver text us. Say they're listening to the show in the van. Had a mailman, USPS driver, Facebook the show. Said I listen in the truck every day. The official talk radio show of delivery drivers across the upstate, and you can join the Armada. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, the Odyssey app.
We better make a liner out of it before someone else does. Because once you make a liner out of it, you own it.
You own it.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, join the Armada. I like it. I like it. Busy day. Line up on the broadcast tonight. I don't know about you, but I had a very good evening yesterday evening, Lonzo. The lady friend comes home from her trip. I made air fryer cheeseburgers. I did not have much faith, as I am a grill guy.
Yeah, what's the cleanup like for that? I haven't did that yet because I'm a little concerned. I know that's what the drip pan's for.
3 minutes of hot water and a sponge. It is faster to clean up the air fryer than it is the damn grill. I'm a grill guy. I barbecue everything. If I can put it over a fire and cook it, I'm going to put it over a fire. But I decided last night to do air fryer cheeseburgers. I'm not going to lie. They came out really good.
Yeah,
really
my concern with that would be dry. Is it dry? Is it still juicy?
Still juicy. In fact, when I poked it with my meat thermometer to make sure that I had the perfect medium rare temperature, when I poked it, Lonzo, the juice from the burger started spilling out. Like I was mad. That's why I wasted it. Phenomenal. That's not the point of the story. Although, if you are hashtag Team Air Fryer, do air fryer cheeseburgers. They're phenomenal. All right? 375, 4 minutes on both sides, Lonzo. Then you pull them out. You put your cheese across them. Pop it back in there for 1 more minute to melt the cheese. Pull it back out. Little Duke's mayo on top. Little lettuce, fresh tomato.
You had me till the mayo.
You're good.
As far as if they're as good as you said, what do you need mayonnaise for? You're going to be able to taste the burger.
Just a touch. Just a kiss. Just a kiss of Duke's right on top.
I'm anti-cult, so I would have chose something else.
That's fine. That's fine. You can be wrong. This is America. That's what we do. I use a little liquid smoke, right? Flatten the ground beef out, put a little liquid smoke on there. Little chili pepper to give it a southeast touch. Fold it on top of itself. Mash it together. Make some burger patties. $3.75 4. Flip them over. $3.75 for 4. Flip it back over. 1 minute at $3.75 to melt the cheese. Everything is good. Everything is good. Now, that's not what I was going to say about why last night was good.
It's a great start.
It's great. It's a hell of a start. Phenomenal start to the evening. So I make the burgers. The lady friend who has just gotten back from her 3-day vacation on down in Florida is like, look, I love you. I want to spend time with you, but I need some decompressed time because she had a girls' trip. There was a ton of drama. She needed some decompressed time. She's like, I'm going to go in the back and watch Ozark. Do you want to go? Well, I haven't watched Ozark yet, but I want to. I've heard Ozark's a really, really good show. But she's on season 4 or whatever this last season is. So I said, I can't watch it with you. I've never watched an episode. I want to watch it, so no. You go on. You go watch it. I'm going to stay out here and watch sports. So I turned on the pair of TVs, Lonzo, and then I realized I had Braves Mets in an NL East divisional race. I had 2 game 1s in the NBA playoffs. I had 4 game 1s in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, and I had the recorded race at Bristol, Bristol yesterday. Nope, not Bristol. Dover. Had the recorded NASCAR race at Dover to go through yesterday.
By the way, watch the first 5 minutes of Raw later if you get a chance.
And Monday Night Raw was on.
I was going to say just the first 5 minutes.
And Monday Night Raw was on. For the first time in a very long time, I was overwhelmed by sports yesterday. Overwhelmed. Like, I was like, I can't keep up. There's too much.
It's not football season. There are no sports on
oh my
when it's
God.
not football season.
Dude. I don't know how to tell you. Atlanta beats the Mets 5-2. Travis d'Arnaud, former Met, thank you, New York, goes out there and gets what? I think 3 ribbies late in the game. 3 RBIs late in the game to win it for the Bravos. Phenomenal. The Hurricanes of Carolina. Not Miami. Sorry, Jeff. We're coming to you in a minute. The Hurricanes of Carolina. 5-1 winners over the Boston Bruins. Don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I am pulling for Carolina. And I'm pulling for Nashville. Those are my 2 teams. Yeah? However, I will pull against any team that has Brad Marchand on it. That guy sucks as a person, and I don't like him. Like, as a person, I don't like the guy. He's a terrible human being. So good on the Canes last night. 5-1 winners over Boston. At the same time, by the way, there was one good game last night in the NHL. That part does suck. There were 4 game 1s last night in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. One of them was good. The Maple Leafs absolutely crush the Tampa Lightning 5-0. The Blues of St. Louis destroy the Minnesota Wild 4-0. The only game that was good last night was the last one of the night. Kings Oilers. LA gets the better of the O's 4-3. LA scored the game winner with like 5 minutes left to play, and it was hot the rest of the way down. But that was not all, because while those 4 games were going on, we also had, thankfully, Lonzo, the Philadelphia 76ers decided not to show up and play basketball last night. Save us, James Harden. You're our only hope.
Watch that amazing defense put up by James Harden last night. Hey, he's got the ball. Let me put my arms down. I literally saw him put his arms down when someone had the ball coming at him.
James would have been better off when Miami had the ball if he just went and sat on the bench and drank some Gatorade and rested up for the next offensive possession.
Wait, Miami was at full strength, right? So that's why they beat.
Yeah, let's go with that. My goodness. Like, I know Joel Embiid is out. I get it. Joel Embiid is out. It's a tough spot. I get it. But
can you jump teams in the playoffs? You're not allowed to do that, right?
James was looking across like, hey, Coach Spo, you got any room left? James Harden. Harden put up 16 on 5 of 13 from the floor, 2 of 7 from deep, 9 boards, 5 assists. I mean, it wasn't an atrocious night for James Harden. With no Joel Embiid, The Sixers were they just were bad. They were just bad. 106-92 in a game that wasn't that close. How about Tyler Hero? There goes my hero. 25 points off the bench, 9 of 17 from the floor, 4 of 6 from the arc, 7 assists.
Disappointed he didn't do the flex thing last night, though.
Tyler Hero seems like one of those guys that you would want to fight if you were playing him at the Y. But when he was doing it to the Sixers, I was like, go off, young man. Go off, young man. Have yourself a night. I'm here for it. I enjoy watching James Harden's frustrated face. And I enjoy watching the misery of Philadelphia sports fans. Cannot wait for the Sixers to get bounced. Oh, and by the way, the Flyers fired their head coach last night because they suck too. Shortly after that, Devin Booker is back, baby. D-Book showed up with 23, 9, and 8 as the Suns outpaced the Mavs 121-114, 45, 12, and 8 from Luka Doncic. Dear Dallas, how does Luka give you 45, 12, and 8 and you get blown out? You get blown out because it 121-114 and it wasn't that close. However, so that you are all aware of the influence that Lonzo has around the sports broadcasting universe, 2 things happened last night. 2 things happened that proved, once again, that Lonzo is the influencer in this sphere. Number 1, Luka took a foot to the groin.
It's more like a knee, but yeah.
Took a hefty shot to the boys. And it was referred to as
shot to the midsection.
Shot to the midsection.
By Reggie Miller, but then
the
magic
Chuck
happened.
Barkley and Shaq and the rest of the boys showed up to correct that error on behalf of Lonzo by making sure everybody knew that was not a shot to the midsection. That was a shot to the groin. Luka got kick, kneed, whatever. I have bleached it from my memory because it was not like, yesterday I told you by means of therapy over the radio for me about the flashbacks to the kid from Tate High School that used to give me the old love tap to the boys. Luka took an absolute karate shot to the dudes, doubled over like he was in pain. Shaq came on and Shaq was like, hey, don't call that a shot to the midsection. That's an insult. The fact that he got up and came back from that, we got to call that what it is. That was a cup check. That was a shot to the groin. A shot to the boys. My goodness, Luka. And then it got up and finished a 45, 12, and 8 game, Lonzo. I would have been on the way home immediately.
It was a very professional wrestling type shot.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because it looked very much like, and then to act like you didn't mean to do it, yeah, that was pretty intentional.
If you showed me the clip and told me that that guy did it on purpose because he was trying to win his championship belt back from Luka, I'd believe you. I believe you. But that wasn't all that happened yesterday that proved that Lonzo is the biggest influencer in the social media broadcasting sphere. Yesterday afternoon, you may or may not remember, I guess yesterday late morning, you may or may not remember, we got into a conversation about Justin Ross, the wide receiver out of Clemson, who when he declared himself as draft eligible, I said, no, Justin, come back to Clemson for a year. But, and listen, Justin makes his own decision. He's a grown man. He's an adult. All right? He's an adult. But Justin Ross made the decision to decide to declare for the National Football League draft. I said, Justin, don't do it. I'm going to tell you right now, there's some folks I'm very upset with because there are some other radio people in this market Justin Ross is a great Clemson player. He's a first-round draft pick. He was a little slower last year, but he's a first-round draft pick. I said, no. No, he's not. He's not a first-round draft pick, guys. He had a great opening year. The injuries banged him up last year, slowed him up last year. He's not a first-round draft pick. Stop telling him he is. And then I got, Rob, you're just a Clemson hater. You're just a Clemson hater. You just don't want Clemson guys to succeed. No. Justin Ross is a good dude. I am pulling for him in his corner, but he's banged up. He's lost the step. His routes don't have the crispness that they did after his freshman year. He needs to come back to Clemson. He needs one more year to use their resources to get himself back to what he used to do. No, Rob, you just hate Clemson. You just hate him.
It's got to be rough to be dictated to about what you can talk about, and that you have to praise a certain school because they basically run you. That's got to be hard, because especially if you might have a differing opinion and you know you can't give it. Luckily, we don't have that problem here.
So listen, I said, Jay Ross, come back to Clemson one more year, buddy. Get your foot right. Get your back right. Get your routes right. Get your hands right. Get your head right. Then go back. And I think you'll be a third, fourth, maybe fifth round guy next year after another year at Clemson. Oh, Rob, you just hate Clemson. You want to see Clemson guys fail. Nope, that ain't it. Anyway, Justin Ross didn't get drafted in the National Football League last weekend. Just like I said he wouldn't. Even though some other people in town went, who's the first rounder? No, he's not. I didn't know if I thought 6th, 7th. He didn't even get drafted. Now, the good news is, and for the record, I'm absolutely pulling for the guy. Yesterday, after saying, somebody give him a chance, Lonzo's Kansas City Chiefs, who, of course, we know, pipe our show into KC headquarters every day, gave Justin Ross a chance. An undrafted free agent signing, as Justin Ross, former Clemson wide receiver, is now a Kansas City Chief. Great googly moogly. Good for him.
Me and Andy, just like that.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you might as well feel like you got drafted in the first round if Patrick Mahomes is throwing you the ball, because you went to a really, really good team and you got a shot. Andy Reid seems to do that. He gives people a shot, and he can earn a spot on that team without a doubt.
Oh, he absolutely can. I mean, Tyreek ain't there. They need a guy now, right? Now, unfortunately, Justin Ross ain't Tyreek. They ain't but one Tyreek. It's Tyreek. That's still a big loss for Kansas City.
Yeah,
sure.
We're going to find out if Tyreek is Tyreek.
Do you know Tyreek's 30 already?
Yeah, and Tua is going to be throwing the ball somewhere around him.
Over under on number of, my goodness, Tyreek Hill was wide open and Tua just missed him this year. Let's set it at 9.5.
Yeah, we're going to find out about that arm strength for sure.
Yeah, we are. Tyreek's going to get it. Tyreek's going to test it for Tua. Anyway, good for Justin Ross. I'm pulling for the guy. I very, very, very much hope that Kansas City can help him get his head on right, and more importantly, get his feet on right. Justin Ross, after his freshman year, was a first or second round guy. The injuries took their toll. I wanted him to come back to Clemson for one more year. Not because I wanted Clemson to be great with Justin Ross, but because I wanted Justin Ross to be great at the next level, because he seems like a good kid who got dealt a crap hand, and one more year maybe could have fixed it for him. But we'll find out. All right, let's see. We've got a couple of texts coming in on the Preferred Home Services text line, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we'll read them on the air. Texter said, what would happen to James Harden if he was inserted into the 1990s Bulls roster with Jordan and Rodman? Would he be humiliated for his defensive effort? Yeah, Jordan would not have let him stay on that team if he played the way he played.
I was going to say, would he be playing?
No, Michael Jordan would have ever. We still see the clips of Jordan absolutely banging on his teammates. Teammates that he liked, by the way. Did you ever notice Michael Jordan is not friends with any of his teammates from a 6 championship career? He's not friends with any of them. Not friends with Scotty. Not friends with Rodman. Not friends with Tony. All those guys doing his documentary, you could tell they were like, yeah, we respect Mike, but we're not friends. James Harden ain't not going to be friends with James, and James ain't going to have 6 rings to show for it because he's the exact opposite. Nobody's friends with Mike because Mike was so tenacious and he pushed you past your comfort zone. Harden's the exact opposite. Harden's like, I'm going to go score my 35 a game. When you guys are on defense, I'll be grabbing a Gatorade. See you for the next possession. Let's see. Fan. I'm an occasional OTR driver and thankful for the app to take you and Mark with me for over a year. I don't know what's OTR? Any idea? Any thought? What's OTR, Texter? On the road driver?
Over the road.
Over the road?
I believe it's over the road.
Over the river? Through the wood? I don't know. But you're welcome and thank you. I appreciate it.
Over
Sincerely.
the river that he'd be driving a boat. That just,
Texter, thank you for taking us with you. Sincerely appreciate it. Texter says, fan, no Lonzo. Kyle Lowry was out for the Heat. Yeah, I think Lonzo was.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic.
Yeah. I believe the official phrase is smartastic. And he nailed it.
If you want to go there. Yeah, that was the point.
Texter, Hurricane Jeff says, I guess I'm part of the Armada because I work for the United States Postal Service, although I haven't worked since December because of a torn meniscus. I'm having surgery on it tomorrow. Well, first off, Jeff.
I feel your pain,
Get through it,
dude.
buddy.
Yeah, it's
Get through it, my guy.
It's not fun.
We'll keep you entertained while you're laid up for sure. But yeah, part of the Armada, man. Part of the Armada. Absolutely is a postman part of the Armada. Absolutely. Jeff, good luck tomorrow, buddy. We're pulling for you. I expect a text after your surgery letting us know you're good to go. All right? Demand a text letting us know that you're good to go. You're in the P1 group. I need to know you're good, man. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute from right now. I saw a comment on our Facebook page yesterday, and it was about the transfer portal and recruiting. And it's something that I've seen a couple of times, and I just wish people would take a second and think about it. I'll address what I mean when I come back. I'm Rob. He's the great one. And you're listening to The Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate.
system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramps credit cards offer you cash back. Real money in
So we have this display. It's a TV in the hallway, and it pops up and it has all the host pictures in it. And I notice, for the most part, it's just a decision apart, it would seem. All sports guys kind of have the same haircut. So I've been thinking about getting a haircut. So should I conform and get sports guy kind of haircut? I don't know.
You're telling me that guy in the top right corner, that guy have the same haircut? No chance. First off, he does the high school forward and up thing.
The duck bill.
The duck bill.
It's the duck bill, yeah.
It's like a pompadour, but less pomp and more adore.
No one's ever said less pomp about.
I got told, by the way. I got told, by the way, Lonzo.
Yes.
In August, the lady friend and I are going to the Dominican for a vacation. And we're both trying to drop down, trying to get some LBs down. We're not trying to show up and be the fattest people in the Dominican. And so I also told her that I want to grow my hair back out, back out, which she's always been against. But she said, if you get down to 220, you grow your hair as long as you want, I won't say anything. As long as you're below 220, you can grow your hair as long as you want, and I won't say anything. When she told me that, I was at 268. It's the heaviest I've been since I moved here. I weighed myself today, 255.
Uh-oh.
She goes, I screwed up. I was like, yeah, you did. You know why? Because you gave me something. You gave me something to actually work towards.
You have a target and you have a prize at the end.
Bingo.
For sure.
And on top of that, by saying you can do this thing I hate if you do this, what you're really telling me is I don't think you can do it. I don't believe you can get to 220. And as soon as you tell me I don't believe you can do this thing, that's when I do it.
Although looking at the video, my hair is receded enough. I might just need to leave it as long as it is. I don't know.
Go ahead, man.
I'm going to be Paul Heyman before it's over with, and that scares me.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo and you. Welcome in. 844-FAN, phone 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. That's the number to be on the air with us. You can also text us on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air. Let's see. I'm curious as to what the place of hockey is in the hierarchy of discussions. I am aware that regular season hockey does not, as the expression goes, move the needle. Lonzo and I are needle movers. We just are.
Do we need to be acknowledged now? I don't know.
I mean, August, we will be. We are needle movers. I am aware that regular season hockey does not move the needle. It just doesn't. I'd like it to. I love the sport. I think the sport is great. But it just doesn't. And I don't know if because there's so much of it. Because it's just not a sport in the South. I don't know what the case is. But Stanley Cup playoff hockey. I'll start with the great one, Lonzo. As we get deeper into the Stanley Cup playoffs, do you become more, less, or the same likely to watch hockey games at night?
I might watch the finals.
Yeah?
I might.
Like check in the last two games, the elimination games maybe?
It depends on if there's a Canadian team in. I like to watch the Canadian national anthem being butchered by somebody. So I'm going to tune in a little bit early for that.
Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup in a very very, very long time.
Wait, I thought that was their sport.
I mean, in fairness, in 1993, by the way, I believe is the last time they did it. In fairness, the NHL is the most international professional sport, right? You look down the roster of just about, in fact, let's look at it. Let's look at the Carolina Hurricanes roster. It is and this is the other part of it is, I wonder a little bit if it is because, and I don't say this as like a beat up on people way, but I do wonder to some degree if the reason people don't watch it is because it's very difficult to get first name familiar with a lot of these athletes, right?
Unless you're someone who watches someone play hockey in college, maybe watches them play in minor league and then follows their career. That's hard to do in hockey, isn't it?
Yeah. And especially with the exception of the NHL, there's so much movement, right? Here is the Carolina Hurricanes roster. You ready? Finland, Canada, Sweden, Canada, Finland, Canada, Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic, Canada, 2 players from the United States, Russia, Finland. That's your forwards. On defense, well, I do respect this. That was your offensive players. I scroll down to the defensive roster, Lonzo. You know, the guys whose job is to hit.
Goons.
Canada, USA. That's where our guys play. Goalkeepers are Denmark, Russia, Canada, and Finland. That's the Carolinas. South and North Carolina. Roster predominantly made up of Europeans and Canadians. I wonder, when we talk about the NFL, you got a lot of guys that you get familiar with in their college days, right?
And in some cases, especially around here with how good high school football is, you can see a guy, because we've seen guys play in high school, play in college, and then play in the NFL.
100%. We have plenty of time to get familiar with guys. It's I wonder if it's not just a little harder to get comfortable with with the players that represent these teams.
Is it different if you grow up in a hockey town? I know there are hockey towns up north somewhere where you grow up and hockey is everything. To them, is it like what football is to us?
I'm going to say yes, and here's why. You know, I hang out with the guys that run the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, right? And there are guys that are big hockey guys that run the club. And what I've noticed is that the ones who translate their love of the Rabbits to, hey, Rob, let's go down to whatever bar and watch NHL playoff hockey tonight, they're all guys from up north. They're all guys from hockey towns. They're all from Duluth. They're all from, Manitoba. I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot! They're all from hockey places. Now, I think that doesn't mean hockey can't win people over, right? I grew up in Pensacola, Florida. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Pensacola, the Florida Panhandle. Lonzo, the only large amounts of ice that we have in that area are for margaritas. That's it. If you got ice in the Florida Panhandle, it is used to chill a drink and nothing else. I did not grow up around hockey. The closest we had was roller hockey, which you played for like 3 years, and then the roller hockey fad went away. And that was really it. Until the Pensacola, at the time, Ice Pilots, named after Pensacola Naval Air Station, which is where the Blue Angels fly out of. It is it's the cradle of naval aviation. If you are going to be a pilot in the Navy, you go through Pensacola to learn how to fly. So, we got the Ice Pilots. I started going to games. I didn't understand hockey at all. But it was something to do on a Friday, Saturday night with the friends. Get out of the house, And then people started explaining the game to me, started explaining hockey to me, and I fell in love with the sport. Hockey and baseball, Lonzo, are the two sports that I will say definitively are better to watch in person than on TV. Soccer's probably in that mix. But as the big sports go, hockey and baseball are both better sports to be watched in person than on television. Anyway, I am curious, and you can text me your answer to the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. Should I cover Stanley Cup playoff hockey? That's it. That's the question. Is it worth my breath, my energy, and your time to talk Stanley Cup playoffs? Texter says, Rob, that Hurricanes game last night was high energy. It absolutely was. And that's why I wonder, right? Because that game last night was L-I-T freaking lit. Lit. Ben popped in, said the Canes banged a goal off the goalie's dome last night. Yes. Yes, they did. And I absolutely loved the expression from the guy up on play-by-play that says he was below the goal line and Trocheck banged it off his coconut and ricocheted it in. What a line. What a line. But yes, it was phenomenal. The Canes game was good last night. The LA game last night, the Kings and the Oilers, was as entertaining of a sporting event as I have watched all year. All year. It was incredible. 4-3, the Kings win, but it's a 3-3 game with 5 to play. Both teams looking for the game winner. LA found it on the road. It's great stuff. Texas said, fan, you should only cover the Bruins. I will. I will cover your team losing until Brad's not there anymore. I know that, Brad is, Lonzo, you ever heard the expression, yeah, he's an a-hole, but he's ours? Yeah, he's a jerk, but he's our jerk.
I've heard that every place I've worked at.
Brad Marchand is that guy. I know you love him. I can't stand his stupid face. And if I get the chance to watch him lose and talk about it, I'm happy to. Boston loses 5-1. Go Canes. And by the way, Lonzo, when the Canes score, their official goal sound throughout the arena, woo! And the whole arena does it with them.
Wait, that's wrestling. You can't do that.
Woo!
Adult men and women do not do that.
Woo! Attendance in that building last night was probably in the ballpark of what? 18,000, 19,000? Maybe more? Woo! Texter says, what you got against my guy Brad, legend, Hall of Fame, says only people from Boston about the dirtiest he is a bad guy in hockey terms. Other hockey players think he is a scrub.
Is that not a badge of honor?
No, there's a lot. I'm fine with the bruiser, an enforcer. But you cross the line when you are just a dirty jackass, Brad. Nobody likes Brad except Boston people. You give Brad a bad name. Brad sucks. Sorry, Texter. I love you. I appreciate you listening. Don't take it personally. Brad sucks. Back after this to wrap up hour number 1 of the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Brad sucks.
You gave Brad a bad name, really? Brad must be really bad if you're using Bon Jovi references to talk about him.
Carolina Panthers agreed to terms on a one-year deal with Andre Roberts. He's a 2018 All-Pro selection.
Whoa, whoa.
No, Seb, everyone loves that commercial.
Oh, whoa. Which one?
Your cousin from Boston.
From Baston. I actually do like that.
Those are pretty good.
I actually do like those series commercials.
Austin Riley homered. Max Fried won his third consecutive start. Travis d'Arnaud with 3 hits and 3 RBI against his former team. The Yankees nipped the Blue Jays 3-2. Gleyber Torres with an early homer, then a go-ahead single in the ninth.
It's one of those you wonder, is that guy really like that or not?
Have you seen the one with the robots from Boston Dynamics?
Yes, unfortunately.
I immediately thought about you.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I disagree. It's placement in places to make it seem more comfortable. So the more you see it, the more you're like, well, that's the normal. And then the next thing you know, they're everywhere.
Whoa.
So I have a theory about something that's about to happen in WWE.
Okay.
All right, so last night Dewdrop approaches Nikki and says, "Are you through playing around?" There's two. There's a third Irish person.
Bringing in.
No. An alliance between Becky,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Nikki,
bringing in Bex.
and then suddenly you've got
The
a
Irish Destroyers.
faction. Yes.
For it. For it.
I don't know what they would.
Technically, Nikki's Scottish.
Yeah, you're
Actually,
right.
her and Dewdrop are both Scottish.
No,
right?
they're Scottish.
Yeah.
No, oh, you're right.
You
So it
you
won't
can
work.
have like a- you
It
can
won't
have
work.
like no, you can have like a Celtic Destroyers.
No, I feel bad now because I didn't. I didn't think about.
Well, I mean, you still got 2 Scots.
Is there another Scottish women's wrestler in there? This is a point where some people try to take my wrestling fan card. Go for it.
I wouldn't dare.
All right, so Drew McIntyre is the third one. Okay, all right, there we go. They could be the Highlanders. You're right, Ben. That would be kind of cool, actually.
You run a small business. Who's running your HR? Do you have an HR manager? When's the last time you had an HR audit? Do your employees take workplace safety training? My last question to you is this. What are you waiting for? One complaint against your company can turn your world upside down. I'm Alan Jones, and I created Bambi specifically for small business. All so you can put your HR on autopilot. With Bambi's HR Autopilot, you'll automate the most important HR practices, like HR policies, workplace training, and employee feedback. And you'll get a dedicated
Oh, yeah. That's who I was thinking of. What's her name from NXT? Not Becky. She's got red hair, though, so was the UK champion for a long time. I see her. I can't remember her name. Why can't I remember her name? Kaylee Ray. That's it. That's who I was thinking of. They've been together in something.
Picture this. You stand before the awe-inspiring new signature stack burger menu with DQ, and your mouth wonders, where have you been all my life? That's 5 taste bud tempting cheeseburgers with 100% real seasoned beef. You peek at the loaded A1 stack burger with 2 premium sauces. Then the flamethrower stack burger with tongue-tingling jalapeno bacon. Then you realize moments like these are exactly why we have the DQ signature stack burger menu. DQ. Happy tastes good. Get it delivered at DQ.com.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Did you just put something on Twitter?
Did I put something on Twitter?
Where we talked about Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, from yesterday.
But you just now did it?
No, I scheduled it, but I clearly
Okay.
scheduled it for the wrong time.
Okay, I just thought it was weird. It just showed up.
Yeah. I must have scheduled it for the wrong hour. That's all right.
protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching,
Max Caster has filed to trademark the Ace of America. Okay.
safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're looking for real news, News Nation doesn't take sides or lean into political agendas. At News Nation, you get all sides. News Nation, news for all America.
You're right, Seb, but when I make mistakes, a lot more people hear it.
To find your television provider.
As long as it doesn't make mistakes.
Odyssey app. Search the fan.
Wrapping up hour number 1 of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. So the only question I have, we got a couple of texts that have come in so far from Hockey Dudes. Hockey Dudes saying, I would love more hockey talk. One said, I would love more hockey talk, but I understand why you can't do it. It's a relatively niche sport. It is. It is geographically a niche sport, right? Because it requires, or historically has required, certain elements to be able to play. You got to have cold weather, and you got to have an ice rink, obviously. There were adaptations. We all played roller hockey for a couple of weeks back in 1997. But to play ice hockey, there are requirements, cold weather and ice. Now, over the years, obviously, it has become much easier ice rinks in other places, which is why you've got a multi-time Stanley Cup team down in Tampa, Florida, where it is not cold, historically speaking, which is why you can have a rink in Pensacola, Florida, or Greenville, South Carolina. And that's great, but that really only became tenable for smaller communities like 15, 20 years ago. Maybe a little bit longer. Not long enough for 2 or 3 generations of fans to get ingrained into the game. Now, I've got a friend of mine down in Pensacola. He is the PA for the the professional hockey team down there, formerly the Ice Pilots, now the Ice Flyers. His daughter has been around hockey her whole life, obviously, because her dad's the PA announcer, brings her to games, buys her the jerseys, etc., etc. So, she, as a kid, is a big hockey fan. She's in. She loves the sport. When they're not at the Pensacola Bayfront Arena watching the Ice Flyers play, she's at home asking Pops to put on an NHL game because she loves it. She's been ingrained. She grew up around it. There are 2 ways to become a fan of a sport. Number 1, you grow up with the sport. Or number 2, you are exposed to the sport by somebody else who knows it, loves it, and explains it and breaks it down. She's gotten both of those. She's growing up around it, and also her dad loves to talk to her about the game, so she gets more exposure to the game. That is not, hockey's not had enough time to do that across the South. I wonder 25, 30, 35, 40 years from now if we would have the same, if hockey would feel the way soccer does now, a rapidly growing sport, because there has now been plenty of time and the stigma against it has gone away. I'm curious. Is it worth my effort to prepare hockey segments? And if I do them, is anybody listening?
Here's the difference between you, and I'm not trying to kiss up because it doesn't get me anything.
Sure.
You actually know what you're talking about when you talk about hockey. There are other people who will bring it up at this time of year, and they don't watch it. So, I mean, at least if you do a hockey segment, you watch hockey, you do stuff with hockey, you know hockey.
It does help to do sports talk radio when you watch and know sports. It's a minor assist, you know, to know what you are talking about.
Should be prerequisite.
You think so?
It is not.
Texas said, I'm obviously from Connecticut. We used to get drunk and high and play pond hockey all the time in the winter. That's what I'm saying. You grew up with the sport, right?
Wow, that sounds safe.
The majority of guys in the NHL are missing multiple teeth. All right, Zoe? They're not really worried about it. I get it. But that's exactly my point. You grew up playing it, right? You grew up playing it. We did not in the South. We don't have that exposure level to it. So what would it take for me to get somebody from the South to go, man, hockey's good? I watch 4,000 pile into the Bon Secours Wellness Arena to watch Swamp Rabbits games all the time. How do I get that number to 10? That's my question. All right, when we come back, I saw a comment on Facebook about recruiting in the NIL era and the transfer portal era. And I want to address it because I think there's some points people are missing. That's next on The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
Protects my house from damage and means no more gutter cleaning for me. Bingo! Plus, Leaf Filter has an industry-leading lifetime warranty, so your gutters are covered for life. Thanks, Frank. I'm calling Leaf Filter today. Don't go another day with your home unprotected. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com.
The Braveheart Foundation. That's really good. Well done. It took me a second to figure it out, but the Braveheart Foundation. Brilliant. Brilliant, Seth.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you gonna do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you can get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with auto pay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money at a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval rates range from 5.73% APR to 19.99% APR.
You ever fight a boss in the game and you look it up and find out the level you should be at to fight the boss and you realize that it's like 30 levels. Yeah, it's 30 levels above where you are. And then you still keep trying for an hour.
You have dramatically more video game patience than I do.
Well, Cameron stopped by. He's like, I was level 96 when I fought that thing and I struggled. Maybe it's time to give it up. It's like, just one more. Just one more. No. He was, but at the same time.
He was. No. He definitely was.
He also knows that when he does that, I'm just going to keep going just because he did it. And yeah. It's one thing if you go out and you get one hit and you're done, or two hits. I was surviving some, so.
Taking an interest in you, Rob.
So every year we have this big duck in our parking lot, and I know what it's for.
Yeah.
And every year I say I'm going to go get my picture taken on the duck, but I'm afraid that I'll get in trouble.
Can't know till you do it.
I mean, I don't have to share it
with
with
you.
anybody. I
with
don't
you.
have to share it
do
with
it.
anybody. I just, I want a picture on the duck.
Go ahead. I'll take it. I got my actual camera in the car. I will take a legit picture of you on the duck. Business card quality.
With the hair flying
Oh, yeah.
and some
We'll
sunglasses
bring one of the
on.
box fans out there, and I'll have somebody hold it up to your hair so it's actually billowing. I'm in. We can do it.
I wish I had a cowboy hat now. You don't have it with you.
I don't have it with me.
I don't want to wear it. I just want to hold it like that.
No, absolutely.
You know. It's a charity thing. I don't want to get in trouble. That's the thing.
Pretty sure you're only getting in trouble if you break it.
Well, we don't know. I mean, the construction seems to be fairly good.
I am betting my weight against somebody else's abilities.
QC Connects in the first break.
Outstanding. Trey said that texter said he'd get drunk and high and play hockey up north. Down here, if we wanted to see people that are drunk and high and missing teeth, we'd go to Waffle House. Sir, I will not stand here and allow that Waffle House slander. It's not a Waffle House, it's a Waffle Home, people. And it's amazing. I will not allow you to slander the good name of the South's favorite restaurant. I won't allow it, Trey. I won't allow it.
All right. I mean, we could go there and count teeth right now and find out if he's right or not.
Doesn't matter if he's
we can't at this moment. We could go at noon. We could go to a Waffle House and count teeth.
I mean, that's just a good excuse to go to the Waffle House as far as
I
I'm
mean, I'm sure the fine people that are there dining wouldn't mind if we walked up and said, "Hey, can we count your teeth?"
That's messed up, man. That's messed up.
Especially if they say it ain't hard and you only see one.
That's more messed up, man. All right. Got a couple of things I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to get into this very briefly. I saw on the Facebook page yesterday a take that I wanted to get to. And I listen, it is very rare that I go grab a Facebook quote from somebody else's show and turn it into a prep for my show. My show is my show. I do my show. I don't do anybody else's show, or at least I try not to. Anyway, there was a comment on a post that was made on another show regarding recruits versus numbers of players that go into the NFL draft. And there was a cat who said, in the era of the transfer portal, why would you even recruit anymore? Why would you not just fill out your team with good players who transfer? Guys, those of you that have been on the doom and gloom path since the transfer portal popped up, relax, take a deep breath, okay? And here's why. Superstars, with rare exception, are not going into the transfer portal. Superstars, with rare exception, don't have a reason to go in the transfer portal. Now, you might see some players that play for smaller schools that break out and turn into absolute stars, enter the transfer portal and move up because there is more NIL opportunity at a higher level. That might be the case. We might see that more happen more often, I should say. But as Lonzo has said correctly many times, I think we need a couple of years worth of data before we start making or drawing conclusions. Is it possible that a kid could go to, I don't know, Vanderbilt and break out as a stud and then transfer to Ohio State because there's more NIL opportunity in Columbus, Ohio than at Vandy? Yes, that's a possibility. It's absolutely a possibility.
Really? Is it?
Is there not more money in Ohio State?
No.
Than Vanderbilt's?
Going from Vanderbilt to
Ohio State?
Yeah, it's kind of.
I'm picking random
Maybe
schools,
going
but
from Vanderbilt to like Florida, that's a possibility, but not Ohio State.
I'm picking random schools, but you get the point. Your school's not going to be above the transfer portal and NIL as a recruiting structure, Lonzo. Or it is not. The best argument that you guys have had for years.
By the way, people transfer out of Ohio State and go win national championships. That's just how that works. Just saying.
No, you're right. You're right. The point is this. You still have to recruit well, all right? You know what the only difference is now between recruiting and recruiting 3 or 4 years ago, pre-transfer portal, pre-NIL deals? There's one difference. The difference now is you better be damn honest to the kids that you're recruiting. You better tell them how it is, not how it might be. Hey, man, I can't guarantee you starting time. And I can't guarantee you that I won't recruit a kid down the line who's better than you at your job, and you may never see the field in 4 years.
We are still early on in this, but I wonder if in each coaching staff or each school, if they think about what the percentage of players that they're bringing in won't be there in a year. You've got to start factoring that in, don't you?
Yeah.
What do you think the percentage would be right now? 15%?
Not as high as people make it out to be. Yeah, I'd say 10, 15% of kids are going to transfer. Which is, if we're being honest, I'd assume pretty on par with turnover rates amongst most companies, right? We think the turnover rate annually for our company is, I guess, probably 10 to 15%.
We're in a kind
voluntary.
of I was going to say, yeah, we're kind of in an odd profession where people kind of stick with it.
Yeah.
So, at least here in this building.
Yeah. No, I'm talking corporate, nationwide.
Yeah.
What
We're
do you think the voluntary
constantly
departure is?
seeing someone has been promoted, usually because someone else is gone.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
I would say 10 to 15% of players are transferring, and that's a guess. I will acknowledge that is a complete and total guess. That is just a intuitive assumption based on what I've seen since the transfer portal got big. It's a guess. I might be way off. I don't know. But I'd say it's probably going to be similar to what the voluntary turnover rate is for most nationwide corporations, no doubt. But I saw a guy on Facebook say, Why would you even bother recruiting? Why not just go to the transfer portal and build your team out? Guys, not everybody who transfers is good. I mean, they're good football players, I'm sure. But not like good, you can build your program off of them good, right?
They believe they are, though.
They might, that's fine. But you got to prove it. You got to prove it. You got to prove it on the field. Just because a guy is transferring doesn't mean he's transferring because he's good. In fact, I would argue the majority of guys are transferring because either A, they're way too good for the level they got recruited at, and this is a market correction for their net worth, or B, they're transferring because in their mind they're better than they were, and this school's not giving them the opportunity they think they deserve. They're not transferring because they are all Americans and there's not a place for them. They're transferring either because they are better than the school that they are at. And I am sorry, don't all of the sudden pretend like you give a damn about the well-being of lower tier schools. None of you have ever called my show and said, Rob, I'm really concerned about the recruiting disparity between Alabama and Vanderbilt. None of you have ever called the show and said, I am concerned about the recruiting disparity between Clemson and, I don't know, NC State, Syracuse. None of you have ever done it. And this is one of the reasons that I get frustrated about the anti-NIL and anti-portal folks. Because all the arguments that you give me are arguments that have been available to you for years. Only when it's benefiting the athletes do you have a problem with it. Well, what's going to happen when the best player that's ever played for Boise State wants out? You didn't care about that disparity before, right? I've been here 2.5 years almost. I have not heard a single person go, well, we should do something so that the recruiting opportunities for Syracuse and Clemson are more even. So that the recruiting opportunities between Alabama and South Carolina are more even.
Let me be the first. I think Syracuse should get plenty of the recruits that go to Clemson.
They do in basketball.
You're right.
You see what I'm saying, though? First off, you can't recruit out of the you can recruit out of the transfer portal. You cannot build your team out of the portal. The portal is available. It is important to get that, but it is a supplementary source of players, not a primary. You still got to recruit. The difference is, in order to not have your team killed by the portal, you have now got to be open, honest, and upfront with kids you are recruiting. You cannot sell them a bill of goods and bait and switch them when they get on campus because, you're stuck. You signed the scholarship. You're screwed, kid. Now they can go, no, I'm good, I might. You told me I was going to be this, this, and this. Instead, I'm that, and that. I'm going to go somewhere else.
I agree. You have to recruit. There's no way you can do college sports without recruiting. But, and as we talked about earlier, you're going to have to deal with the fact that you may lose some of those kids. But as far as the transfer portal goes, that's free agency, and it's all about your NIL money. We're finding that out more about that daily.
By the way, that kid from Miami, the basketball player, Isaiah Wong we talked about, never entered the portal because he never got an offer anywhere else that was going to match it. So he stays at Miami.
Wow, smart move on his part.
Hey, man.
Also a smart move putting it out there what everyone's afraid of happening.
By the way,
and pointing it out.
I found the comment because I remember the comment, but then I forgot to bookmark it. On our Facebook page, Gary Lee says, the transfer portal makes a joke out of recruiting. Full stop. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. In fact, if anything, the transfer portal levels out the recruiting field for the player. But once again, the majority of people who say stuff like this don't give a damn about the players. You only care about the programs.
Well, also keep in mind that recruiting is like a sport unto itself. And some people are really, really into that, almost like it's politics or religion for them. That's what the recruiting is, that important to them. And if something sullies the recruiting or lessens it or whatever, it's affecting them, physically, emotionally, whatever. They don't like that because there are people that are recruiting gurus and that's all they're into. And they're like stats guy.
Yeah.
They're just so into it. I'm not saying Gary's one of those guys, but it could be.
Yeah, I don't know Gary. With all due respect, and this is not a shot. I don't know Gary. I have not interacted with Gary before. I read his take as it's on a public forum. He goes on. Why spend sleepless nights recruiting the best players you can when they will probably leave the school eventually anyway? Hey, Gary, maybe make your school better, right? Then maybe it's on the program to become more attractive to keep those recruits, right? Why are you going to recruit when they're just going to leave anyway? Well, it sounds to me like you got a crap school. You better do whatever you can to get them before they go somewhere else. Well, those schools got all the money. Fine, but unless you have made the argument in the past that we need to do something to level out recruiting across the board, don't tell me it's a problem now that players get a cut. All right?
Or maybe you are a fan of a school who wasn't that good, then suddenly they got great, and now you're worried they're going the other way, and you're just looking for something to blame.
That is a strong possibility. Again, I don't know, Gary. I don't know what school he roots for. But if you're the type of school that is getting in big names and then they are leaving you via the portal, sounds to me like you should figure out why. Sounds to me like you should figure out what is driving players off your roster and into the portal. Because I got news for you. Sometimes it's you. Right? We all know the cliche breakup line. It's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me. No.
It's always you.
It's you. It's absolutely you. I'm awesome, and I know it. It's you. Sounds to me, Gary, like your school needs to figure out why kids would leave for the portal so often. Texter said Gary said, if the portal is here to stay, then why recruit at all? Because you have to, Gary. There's only so many players in the portal. And yeah, there are going to be some kids that go into the portal and they don't get a new school. Sucks to have consequences, doesn't it? Remember, it's give-get. I was willing to give you the outcome that some players are going to be screwed by going to the portal without thinking it out first, without knowing they have a destination. My dad told me all the time, do not go somewhere. Do not leave a job you have unless you know you've got another one waiting for you, right? Well, you can't be recruited you can't be recruited when you're on a roster, but you better damn sure know there's going to be somebody there to pick you up when you jump in the portal. And if you don't, that's your consequence, Gary.
At least for now, it would be nearly impossible to build an entire team from the transfer portal. Do you have enough linemen there? Or is there a kicker there? I mean, do you have every position covered? Chances are the majority, and I'm just guessing, but the majority of the kids in transfer portal are skill players.
Let's see. I'm looking right now at the transfer portal, the actual portal that was opened up, or that is open and has players in it right now. There is 4-star, a couple of 3-stars, actually a couple 4-stars, a couple of no stars, a couple of 2 and 1 stars. I mean, is there enough in here that I could build a team?
Do they list them? Do they list them by position though?
Yeah, I can read them off by position. In fact, you know what? Let's do that. Let's start with quarterbacks. Blake DeBishop is transferring out of Cal. No stars, no PT. Grant Gunnell from Memphis. Joey Yellen from Pitt. Seth Smith from Marshall. Billy Edwards from Wake Forest. By the way, all these guys I've read so far, about a combined 3 games of experience. Yeah. Ryan Glover from Cal, same story. Evan Olays from Colorado State. Baylor's Gary Bohannon. Who's that? That's Liberty. Kid from Liberty, I guess. I don't know if that's the right logo. UConn Steven Krajewski. You heard of any of these cats?
No, that was going to be my point. Yeah.
And the majority of them have immediate eligibility for a year, maybe 2. Right? So, given all the names I've given you at quarterback, Colton Fitzgerald, Parker Navarro from Boise and UCF, Doug Brumfield from he left and is going back to school. Drew Zalby from Western Kentucky. Aiden Bauman from Iowa State. Ethan Bullock from Oklahoma State, a 3-star. Kyle Toole from Troy. Amani Gilmore from whatever school that is. The Mean Green of North Texas. Guys, that's why you recruit. Okay? That's why you recruit. Here's the reality, my dudes. The portal is a nice supplemental tool. You might occasionally find a guy in there that's going to change the game. South Carolina picking up Spencer Rattler is exactly what I'm talking about. That's a game changer, right? If he's 2 years ago Spencer Rattler, that's a game changer for South Carolina. Who else?
As I pointed out earlier, LSU got a pretty good quarterback. You know,
Joey B.
Yes.
Game changer for LSU. Exactly right. Every now and then somebody will pop in there. But again, if your school is losing the transfer, you better find out why. Why are they leaving? Is it money? Is it because your coach lied to them about what they're capable of doing? Oh, it's free agency. And so what? So what? Some of these guys are going to get screwed. Some of these guys are going to go somewhere else and get paid. Why is this the one place you have a problem with it? And don't hit me with money disparity is your argument. Because there's been financial disparity in college football between the Alabamas and Clemsons and the Vanderbilts and Syracuses of the world forever. And not a one of y'all has ever called the show and gone, we need to figure out how we can knock down Alabama's recruiting advantage over Florida. Well, bad example. Vanderbilt. How do we get the recruiting advantage displayed by Ohio State and Michigan and level them out with Purdue and Minnesota? You ever ask that question, Lonzo?
Many times over dinner.
Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
It's one of those things. It's a conundrum.
When Lonzo goes into his existential football mode when he's like, how do we?
I'm very reflective.
Yeah.
Wearing a smoking jacket while
Ain't
doing it.
none of y'all have ever called the show and said, how do we spread the money out between Ohio State and Michigan and Purdue and Minnesota? Between all of Alabama and LSU and Vanderbilt and Kentucky? Between Clemson and Florida State and Syracuse and
It's hard to come up with ACC teams.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's hard. It's difficult.
Well, because half of them are in that second group. But you get the point, right? You get the point. You have never called to argue we should level the playing field until the players got on it. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we can't have that. Why not? We have had that for years, and you've never had a problem with it until the players were on it. And now all of a sudden it's a bad thing? It's pandemonium? Stop it. Stop it. You're just mad that a new group has entered. That's it. And I don't know why. Let's take a break. Come back here in just a minute. Got a few more things off the social media feed I want to address, including, Lonzo, something we haven't done in a while. A dramatic reading of Facebook comments. I'm very excited about it. I'll share with you what I mean when we come back on The Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate.
QC. All right, I'm going to show my age here. Our buddy Carter, who's filled in on the station a bunch of times, just tweeted, Harry Potter is mid. I'm just going to stop there because the rest of it doesn't matter. Harry Potter is mid. What does that mean?
Middle of the road, pedestrian. Meh.
So, so not top of his list. Is that what the kids are saying now, or is that like
I
a
believe the kids said that
30-something?
a number of years ago.
Well, Carter's around your age, I think. So I don't recall someone being mid as a thing. I've
All
never
right,
really
let's
heard
see.
that.
According to Urban Dictionary, which always go to Urban Dictionary.
Okay.
According to Urban Dictionary, mid is a word that is used to insult or degrade an opposing opinion, labeling it as average or poor quality.
Okay. All right. So
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's mid. It's like a 4, 5, 6.
that's what I thought it was. But, sometimes things have other meanings that, go over my head. So I disagree with him, by the way. But Harry Potter is not mid. But, Harry Potter was big time, 10 years ago or something like that?
I had an ex that was really big in Harry Potter. I watched the movies with her. They were good.
I saw the last movie in IMAX. I believe it was the last one or the one before. It was either part 1 or part 2, and that's the first IMAX movie I'd ever seen, which was a good start because they had filmed it in IMAX, and the snow was a certain way. It was really cool. So I guess it will always have a above mid place in my heart because it was my first IMAX film. So in certain hallways, if I went down and said that's so mid, they would get it, and in other ones, probably not, right?
Would not.
Okay, that's exactly what I was thinking. So
Coming up on the next segment of the show, and I'm going to get out on a short segment here because I won't have time for this. The Panthers of Carolina put out a Facebook post where they have offered the opportunity for fans to go ahead and purchase PSLs. And the ability to purchase said PSLs has got some people, the jerks. The absolute jerks, Lonzo. They've just ruined my segment. They put up a post inviting people to buy PSLs, personal seat licenses. The way a PSL works effectively is dumbed down. You buy a PSL from the team, and then the team goes, okay, you have a license. Now you may purchase a season ticket or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever you want. So you got to have a PSL to then be allowed to buy a season ticket. It's just a way for them to get more gas out of you. Right. Well, they put up a post on their Facebook page, though, where they began offering PSLs as low as $25 per month for a year to buy 8 football game tickets. And suffice to say, Zoe, the Carolina Panthers Facebook post was rife with smart-ass Panthers fans who had all the jokes. All the jokes. And I was very excited because Lonzo and I were going to do a dramatic reading of Angry Panthers fans' Facebook posts because there were some hilarious ones mixed in there.
Did they get hacked?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
They just straight up deleted the post. I was reading it this morning, getting ready for work. I'm scrolling all the local teams' socials. I'm going to check out Carolina's, and here's a post that says, buy your PSL for as low as $25 a month. And I thought, during football season? No, for the year. But it allows you to buy 8 games worth of football tickets. And I thought, well, I know this is going to be interesting. So I pop on in. And I read through the comment section. And Lonzo, it was hilarious. It was just Panther fan after Panther fan absolutely dogpiling on their own team for having the audacity to be a 5-win football team and charge $25 a month all year to buy tickets. People were going, you know, maybe just try to sell a seat before you try to do all this extra stuff for money. And comment after comment was rolling in like one of those cartoon editions of a slot machine. Bing, 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 bing. And I thought, this is going to be great. Lonzo and I can do some dramatic readings of Angry Panthers fans on their Facebook page, and I pull it up to get it ready for the next segment, and I find out that sometime between 7:11 a.m. and 10:32 a.m., the Panthers went, well, this ain't a great look, and just deleted the whole thing.
So Will on the stream has a good point. It's called a screenshot. Take a screenshot of that. I realized there were probably so many that you were going to go through. So
there was dozens of them. Dozens of them. It was amazing. I mean, they just kept coming. It was comment after comment after comment after comment from Panthers fans going, yo, hold up a minute, dude. Maybe, instead of trying to ring us up for $25 a month to buy the rights to buy tickets. One guy was like, yo, I'm not a mathemologist, right? I'm not a math guy, but BOA holds 75,000. Last year, you were bringing in about 30,000 a game, maybe. Here's the thought, Panthers. Why don't you just sell us regular tickets until you get 75,000 in, and then we'll talk about charging a little bit more. And they got a point. BOA holds 74,867. 74,867. Last year, you know what? I will look it up, Lonzo. Panthers average attendance 2021. According to Statista.com, the average attendance in 2021 for BOA was 71,906. That might be sold tickets, but abso-freaking-lutely not. Absolutely not. I need butts and seats numbers. I really do.
It can be filled up. I've been there when it was sold out before.
Oh, I'm sure.
Couple times.
I'm sure. I have no doubt. But I need butts and seats numbers, not ticket sold numbers. I have no doubt that when, I don't know, Dallas comes to town or Brady and the Bucks come to town. They'll pop 74K in there. Are you trying to convince me that last year when Eagles fans were louder than the Panthers fans on TV, that there were 74,000 in attendance? Get out.
Well, we know
Miss.
we know winning will fix that, but the first step would be to have a quarterback that people would actually root for.
I don't disagree. Or maybe don't charge me $1,200 to buy the rights to then buy a ticket. What a model. Could you imagine if they tried that model in any other business? Lonzo, you and I are going to see Doctor Strange this weekend. Could you imagine if you called the movie theater and were like, yo, let me get 2 tickets to Doctor Strange on Saturday. And they went, yeah, we'll just need $50 from you to license the seats. And then we'll call you back to actually sell you the seats. You'd be like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I want to see the movie pretty bad, but not that bad.
Yeah. But come on now. Come on now. What is that? What is that? Tucker said a dude worth $16 billion trying to fleece people. Well, he says charge people to pay for the privilege to buy tickets to a 5-win football team is just the height of greed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. A PSL should be called a privileged seat license. You're exactly right. Now you have the privilege to buy Panthers tickets. Miss me, dude. Put out better than a 5-win team and then let's talk. I loved that the Panthers fans were so mad at the, hey, buy a PSL take from the Panthers that they ripped them on their own Facebook page to the point, Lonzo, that the Panthers went, not a great look for us. Delete. I've deleted stuff off of my Facebook page, though. I have. Ordinarily, it's because I go, wow, that was a really dumb thing to say, 17-year-old Rob. Let's just delete that, pretend it never happened. Or I had such an egregious grammar or spelling mistake that I knew that that was going to take precedence over what I wanted to actually say. Delete. I have never had to delete a Facebook post because I got run by my own fans for being an idiot. Nice job, Panthers. Nice freaking job. Beautiful. Let's take a break. I had planned on doing dramatic readings of angry Panthers fans next segment, but the Panthers have taken that joy away from me. So I'll find something else funny for us to do, maybe. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. And this is The Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Treatment for ED that requires no pills, no This is the latest medical breakthrough for the treatment of erectile dysfunction. Greenville Men's Clinic is proud to offer the most advanced form of acoustic wave therapy, which has been proven to increase blood flow, reverse ED, and increase soundness. Stop wasting your time with pills that produce side effects and have little to no results. Medical institutions at Cambridge University and Cleveland Clinic have shown this technology to be safe with no side effects. So, if you're looking for a proven solution, call Greenville Men's Clinic today. They have performed over 12,000 treatments with outstanding results and can help you too. Call Greenville Men's Clinic 864-301-1111. That's 301-1111 or greenvillemensclinic.com. That's greenvillemensclinic.com.
Prescription products require consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if the prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but it's 90% cheaper, and you can get it online? Just
Good effort.
4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations.
The wind caught that last one.
To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
At Ingalls, we know your closest companions are the ones who are always there for you. The ones you trust to have your back, no matter what. Who make the hard times a little softer, and the good ones, somehow, a little better. That's what family is all about. Whether they walk on 2 legs or 4. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
The NBA playoffs are heating up. Unlock every angle with coverage from the BetQL network. Find out which teams could cause an upset, get the latest injury updates, and find out where the money line is moving with daily coverage from the Daily Tip. Go deeper into each series with BetQL Daily and You Better You Bet. And get live reactions to the biggest playoff moments with BetMGM tonight. Get started with the Odyssey app or find us on Twitch.
I'm trying to rewrite history, but I always wanted to beat.
If your wiper blades are smearing and streaking, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts to save $8 instantly on a pair of
Only beat the Mavericks in game 1 last night, 121-1.
People will even install them for you for free. Improve visibility and save
Like
money
it,
with
boy.
Rain-X Latitude wiper blades. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts or shop online at O'Reillyauto.com.
Sports Radio.
At Princess Cruises, we take pride in discovering what makes you feel special. From making Judy's margarita spicy, but not too spicy, to making sure Tom's Day ashore is full of dog sledding and a glacier or two. A vacation with Princess is all about making sure you feel taken care of. It's what we do best. Get the Princess treatment and sail to Alaska for up to 40% off. Book now at princess.com. Offer ends May 31st, 2022. Terms and restrictions apply. Ships of Bermuda and British Registry.
You're the one everyone looks to for answers.
Why? Why would you let?
And you're the one who makes it happen. We get you, Jackie in Fresno, putting your employee safety first. And Manny in Chattanooga, whose local Ranger team knows him by name. We're here for you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call clickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Everyone knows that Nature Valley
Haha,
crunchy
beat
bars are, well, crunchy. What they don't know is that they're also packed with 16 grams of whole grains, ready to help you get out there. Nature Valley, for every adventure.
Always streaming wherever you are on the other.
I was so excited, man. I was genuinely excited. Dramatic readings of angry Panthers fans' Facebook comments was going to be incredible. Instead, I'll just bring up that DeAndre Hopkins has been suspended 6 games for violating the NFL's PED policy. The Cardinals were missing him very clearly the final 4 games of last season. Now they will miss him very clearly for the first 6 of this year. The NFL announcing yesterday that the star has been suspended for violating the NFL's policy on the use of performance-enhancing drugs, which means that Hopkins will be out until mid-October and back on the field in Week 7. It could keep him out until Week 8, obviously, if the Cards get a bye during that first 6-week stretch. Hopkins reacted to the suspension, tweeting out that he was, quote, confused and shocked by the positive test, and that, quote, in my 10-year career, I have never tested positive for using performance-enhancing drugs. To learn that my November test came back with trace elements of a banned substance, I was confused and shocked. I am very mindful of what I put in my body and have always taken a holistic approach, so I'm working with my team to investigate how this could have happened. But even as careful as I have been, clearly I wasn't careful enough. For that, I apologize to Cardinals fans, my teammates, and the entire Cardinals organization. I never want to let my team down, end quote. Of course, this comes just days after the Cardinals made the trade to bring Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, in during the draft. On the first night of the draft, the Cards sent the 23rd overall pick to Baltimore in exchange for Hollywood, and the 100th overall pick that would later be used to draft Majal Sanders out of Cincinnati. The Cardinals' offense was, I don't know, Lonzo, bad without DeAndre at the end of last year, I think is the right way to put it. A team that was a playoff contender, like, wow, they might actually be able to do something. As Lonzo will take great joy in pointing out, Kyler Murray looked a bit lost when he didn't have DeAndre's big behind out there to throw to.
Well, it's easy to look lost when you're behind 6'5", 6'6" offensive lineman and you're only like 4'3". You look like that little kid who got lost in Walmart. So I'm sure it's coincidence that this. See, I'm glad you pointed out that Hopkins tweeted that, because what I saw him tweet was, "See ya in 6 weeks," and I was thinking,
he said, "See you Week 7."
Yeah, it's like, okay, do you have no remorse, no nothing? It almost like this, but these kind of suspensions are just normal for the NFL. It's not like in other sports where it's, you're condemned and all this kind of stuff. Every year this happens and you're just like, oh man, that sucks. And you just move on.
The See You Week 7 was attached to like a screenshot of the message I just read, which ended with, by the way, I fully intend to get to the bottom of this. As soon as I have more information, I will share it. Signed, DeAndre Hopkins.
If he didn't do anything, good. If he did, unfortunately,
he clearly did. He just may not have known he was doing.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is normal for the NFL. So
here's what I'll say: whether it's DeAndre or anybody else, if you are in a position where you know that millions and millions of your dollars are at stake based on what goes into your body, I promise you, Lonzo, I have got complete and total control over it. And I am telling my trainer / doctor / chef / nutritionist / everybody else, if I get popped for a PED and cannot play because of it, every one of y'all's fired. I'm firing all of you. I will get an entire new squad out here. Because like Lonzo pointed out, this happens. It happens. He ain't going to be the first, and I promise you he won't be the last this year that gets popped for a PED. And I am fine to accept that DeAndre Hopkins, who pointed out himself, has never been hit with a PED violation in the past, and I'm sure he's been tested. Never been popped with a PED violation. I am willing to accept his explanation. I think holistic medicine is a questionable decision at best.
Science guy.
I know. Things that work. Gosh.
Let the body heal thyself.
Yeah, that works well. Anyway, I'm willing to believe DeAndre Hopkins. I am willing to accept that he took a... And by the way, DeAndre coming off an injury. I'm sure that whatever he took was probably some sort of medicine or healing ointment for his wheel, to get his wheels back under him. But I promise you, if I'm making DeAndre money and it's contingent on me, not doing that, everybody in my circle that has any say on what goes in or around my body, you are on a one-strike contract.
See, it also hurts your case. You're coming off an injury and you're an older player now.
Yeah.
So those are the things where people just automatically think, oh, yeah, he probably did it because he's trying to stay in the game.
I mean, and that's just how that works. DeAndre's 29, by the way. Younger than Tyreek Hill, for the record, which is insane.
Still fairly old if you're not Tom Brady or, a handful of guys.
No, I agree with you. 29 is one season left till you're on the wrong side of it.
By the way, I hope that he didn't do it.
Yeah,
and I hope he finds out what it was, because even though it won't stop him from being suspended, maybe he can help somebody else to not make the same mistake.
And he might be able to make an appeal, right? I mean, if he can track it down to this medicine that was suggested by a doctor and signed off on by the Cardinals, then he could go appeal, maybe get it knocked down to 2 or 3 or 9. Who knows? Sucks for DeAndre. Sucks for the Cardinals. But just, man, you got to know, dude. You got to know. You got to have a guy. Like back in the days of the King, where he had a guy who drank and ate everything the King was going to drink or eat, under the premise of, if he dies, don't eat it.
Yeah, food taster.
Yeah.
I've been that here.
Not for me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not that hoity. Hour number 3 is up next. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello, Miss Lisa. Good to see you.
Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you can get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.73% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money at a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
still sell investments that generate high commission streams, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable
Where's Moonville?
might be why most of our clients come from other members.
I've been through it, and I couldn't tell you. It's like a lot of other towns that I've been through, and
Fisher Investments.
pretty much don't ever ask me where something
Okay.
is in South Carolina because
Check out their collection today at smithandjames.com and stop by their stores at 222 Trade Street in Greer or at their new location on Verde Boulevard in Greenville.
This feature sponsored by Indeed. Springtime hiring sprees call for Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform helps attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor a job and instantly
it's off of I-85.
candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit
Trying to
Indeed.com/credit.
go out a little bit, see if I can see exactly where that is. It's past Powdersville. Sorry, Powdersville.
Say that again.
It's between Powdersville and Pelzer.
Okay. I know where those two places are.
And yes, I've been there before, looking at it. I've definitely been through there.
So is it like one of those places that it's like blink and you'll miss it?
No, it's odd shaped. You should look at it. It's just, I can't even describe it. It looks like a piece of a puzzle that you lost. A lot of the counties in South Carolina, I think the people, when they drew them out, were drunk.
Now, CBS Sports Radio.
On your radio at 97.7 FM, 1330 AM, Greenville, 97.1 FM, 950 AM, Spartanburg.
Listen on your phone, download the Odyssey app, and search The Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate. On your HD radio at WFBC HD3. There's just one more thing. And on your computer at
TheFanUpstate.com.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. Hey, TQ fans, the new All-Star Summer Blizzard Treat lineup is here with flavors like the Girl Scout Thin Mix, the new Oreo Dirt Pie, caramel fudge cheesecake, cotton candy, and more. There's something for everybody. Only a DQ. Happy tastes good.
Upstate. WORD Spartanburg.
Odyssey Station. You're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Prisma in the first break.
Prisma. The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello. Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. Welcome back. Good to be with you. I am Rob Brown. Directly across from me, the young man in charge of the broadcast, making it sound as good as we do. He is the great one. Lonzo is at the helm. We submit our demo reel to try to go back to back. What day? Monday? Tuesday next week? We turn it in?
It's next Friday.
Next Friday. That's what I meant.
It's not the actual end date. It's the on-site end date.
Yeah.
This is for, because some people tend to procrastinate and they don't turn
Who?
things in on.
Whoever do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know. And so it's a smart management tactic.
Diesel asked me yesterday why my Twitter name was Sex Panther, and my response was, because I work 60% of the time all the time, which is better than the original reason I had changed it. I changed it back because I was tired of answering questions about the movie Anchorman, basically.
Still haven't seen it.
It's good. It's good. Baxter, I didn't know you spoke Spanish. Great movie.
Yeah, some of Will's movies are good.
I'm
some
not a
of
Will
them are
Ferrell
not.
fan.
Yeah.
I like Anchorman. In fairness, I've said this about all of Will Ferrell's movies. Will Ferrell isn't the reason that Will Ferrell movies are good. It's all the other people in Will Ferrell movies.
I think
that
pretty
are
much
reason.
the only one that I've ever seen that I really like is the other guys, and that's
The Other Guys is great.
about it.
And I will tell you that's probably my favorite Will Ferrell movie and the one that Will Ferrell makes funny along with Mac. He and Mac Wahlberg make it okay. Together they make it good. Outside of that, Step Brothers. I like Step Brothers, but John C. Reilly is a big, if not massive part of what Adam Scott, big reason why that movie is funny, right? Talladega Nights, really funny, but Sacha Baron Cohen and the rest of the crew, John C. Reilly in that one. That's why that movie was funny, not Will Ferrell. However, Anchorman is funny courtesy of Steve Carell and Paul Rudd and Ben Stiller.
Is
with a cameo.
it funnier to you because you've worked for TV news?
It doesn't hurt, but you don't have to have had worked for the TV news to get it,
'Cause
although you will get more inside jokes.
There are older shows like News Radio and WKRP in Cincinnati that I find so much funnier now because I've worked in radio.
Yeah, there is elements of that. It's still a very funny movie because it's so surreal. It's so surreal.
Especially News Radio. You should check that out. Joe Rogan's in it. And you'll be like, wait, that's Joe Rogan?
News Radio. Never even heard of it. I mean, I know WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah, News Radio was, I think it was out in the 90s.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
It was absolutely the greatest. News Radio had Phil Hartman in it.
Yep.
And Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was like, he was the engineer, if I recall. He was
It was a TV series.
Yes.
How have I never heard of this?
You should check it out.
Oh my God! Look at young Joe Rogan.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's so much like what it really is in News Radio.
Okay.
That and pretty funny, and so is News Radio, believe it or not.
Stephen Root was in it. Andy Dick was in it. Vicki Lewis was in it. John Lovitz was in it. If Lovitz and Hartman are in it, I'm absolutely watching. Phil Hartman, R.I.P. Gone too soon.
Hartman,
the best.
Hartman, the talk show guy,
Yeah.
that guy
I believe
that
he was
works
amazing.
that works in every building. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, love it. I'll check it out. All right, I want to get to a comment. We talked an hour ago. We talked an hour ago about the transfer portal. There was a Facebook comment that posted up on our Facebook last night from Gary that I responded to. And it basically boiled down. Gary said, well, there's really no point in recruiting anymore. Just milk the transfer portal. Well, here's the thing. As I pointed out then, I'll point out again. You know what other teams are allowed to use the transfer portal? All of them. If you were the only team that was allowed to use a transfer portal, I bet you could build a half-decent team out of the transfer portal. But you're not. You know what other teams are allowed to use the portal? All of them. All of them, right? But the main point of that I made is that every argument that anti-transfer portal folks have made, every argument is only relevant now that players can get in on the cheddar, on the paper, can get the bag as well. There was never an argument about the amount of money changing hands when it was between businesses and the schools, when it was between the schools and the coaches, when it was between the boosters and the schools. Never did anybody call this show and go, Rob, I'm concerned about the amount of money in college football. But now that the players have access to it, now we got a problem. Now we got a concern about the amount of money in college football. It's always been there, guys. It's always been there. It's just always been the adults that have profited off of it, never the kids, never the players. And now, the only thing that has changed, is that players can catch a cut. That's it. Which is why I said, respectfully, if you have not called my show in ever and said, Rob, I have a concern about the amount of money in college football, I don't want to hear it from you now. I don't care. If you didn't have a problem with it before, you don't have a problem with it now. You just have a problem with who gets it. I don't accept that. If you had a problem with the disparity in resources between Alabama and Vanderbilt 5 years ago, then I will hear your argument now. But if you did not, which, as somebody who's hosted a show for 15 years now, you haven't. You know who the only people who have complained about the recruiting differences between Alabama and Vanderbilt are, Alonzo? Vanderbilt fans. That's it. And it's not even complain so much as say, hey, we can't do what they do. We have to accept that we will always be little brother because we cannot match the resources of an Alabama. It is physically impossible.
I'm not trying to make light here, but I don't believe I've ever met a Vanderbilt fan.
There's like 8.
And I don't believe you've ever met a
I know one. Her name's Kelly. She lives in Atlanta, Georgia with her husband. She's a phenomenal human being. She's one of my best friend's sisters. And that's literally it.
Okay. All right. So they do exist.
There's one. She lives in Atlanta. But the point is, if you have never called, emailed, texted, tweeted, whatever, any show, not just this show, but any show, and said, I got a problem with the recruiting disparity between teams, then don't hit me up now complaining about it. Because you don't care. You only care that the players are now involved. That's it. That's all you care about. Because if you cared about it on principle, you'd have been calling or texting or tweeting or emailing for 10 years now. I haven't gotten one of those calls. I may have gotten one or two in the past, but not enough to register. Not enough to memorize. That's just a fact. Seb wrote in on the Facebook page. Seb said, let's keep it 100. 100%. However the kids say it nowadays. I'm old. I'm an elder millennial. Good players will always get their money. The NCAA caused all of this by being greedy and profiting enormous amounts of money for decades. Partially true? No, 100% true, but there's more to it. Seb, I would say this. The best players absolutely were getting their money. Anybody, Lonzo, you want to dispute that? The best players been getting cash?
Yes. Handshakes and other things.
Sure. Best players the top tier players have always been getting paper. No argument. I agree with that.
Now they don't have to be sneaky about it.
Correct.
Supposedly.
And I agree that the NCAA did cause a bit of this. Although I'm not mad at them for it. Of course. The only thing I don't like is when the NCAA pretends that amateur athletics are anything other than a business. Okay? Let's not pretend college basketball is anything but a business, because it is. You don't have to like it. You do have to accept it. It is a business. Okay? And like any other business, I got no problem when the goal is to profit. Of course the NCAA tried to profit. They're a business. Duh. Of course they did. Where the NCAA caused this was not profiting. Where the NCAA caused this was 5 years ago. When radio show hosts like, I don't know, me, if I may toot my own metaphorical horn for a moment. When radio show hosts like me said, hey, NIL is not an option. NIL is not a possibility. NIL is an inevitability. It is going to happen. Like it or not, NIL is on the way. And the NCAA could have jumped out ahead of the NIL deal. The NCAA could have jumped out ahead and said, here's the rules. Here's the regulations. Here's the guidelines. And laid it down. And maybe there's a conversation about changing, tweaking, whatever down the line. Maybe there's not. I don't know. We can't know because it's too late. But the NCAA had 5 or 6 years of people screaming, NIL is an inevitability. Get ready for it. And you know what they did to prepare for it? Not a damn thing. Nothing. They made no moves. They said, oh, we're going to leave it up to the feds and the state government. We're going to leave it up to the states. And the states went, all right, cool. And some states said, hey, let's give our schools a competitive advantage by giving them really, really lax NIL laws. And other states said, we don't care about college football. Care about college. So we're not going to lay down that easy. And that's showing up in the results. So, all of that being said, Seb, I am down to absolutely run at the NCAA. And Mark Emmert. Mark Emmert announced his retirement last week, and what was my immediate response? To take Mark Emmert down. Why? Because of this. We would not be in the position that we're in if the NCAA would have been proactive and would have taken care of situations that we knew were coming for years. And by the way, this may shock you. I'm an idiot. All right? I'm dumb. Ask most people who have listened to this show for any length of time. I'm not a smart man. And even my dumb brain saw 6 years ago, NIL's coming. Name, image, and likeness is coming. It's not a question of if, it's a matter of when. So, let's jump out ahead of it. Let's regulate it. Let's put some rules and regulations down. Let's put some protocols down. Let's start the discussion about how it's going to work so that when it gets here, we can have a level playing field. Let's do that. Did we do that? No. No, we did not. No, we did. Because it may have impacted the bottom line of the NCAA. And at the end of the day, couldn't have that. Couldn't have that. You know what the number one way to get your business in trouble is? It is to only plan for the short term. When a business only tries to profit quarter by quarter, they have no reason to make long-term strides, right? If my job is to make as much money as I can in May, June, and July, and not worry about August, September, October, or November, December, January, I'm going to put all my stock into making money in May, June, and July. And then when August rolls around, I'm going to go, I could have made more money if I invested long term, but I took care of those 3 months. That's what the NCAA did. They said, how do we make the most money we can in the short term? Forget the long term. Well, they forgot the long term, and here we are. That's how the real world works, Mark. I love lighthearted sports radio, don't you, Lonzo? When things aren't serious and nobody's upset. You know what we should do? Some lighthearted radio when we come back.
No, we should not do that.
We should do some lighthearted radio when we come back.
No. Because you forgot all about that.
Oh, I didn't forget. I didn't forget that it's Tuesday. And you know what that means. It's time for Lonzo's favorite segment of the week. It's time for Faces and Heels. We hit it hard when we come back. Rob, Lonzo, and you. This is the Fan Upstate.
Rizma.
Ladies Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about my friends at Prisma Health. Prisma Health, located across the upstate, the official healthcare provider of the Gamecocks, the official healthcare provider of the Tigers. Why, Rob, you ask? Are they the official healthcare provider of both? Well, I'll tell you. It is because of the resources of Prisma Health. Prisma Health has lots of resources. They have locations all around the upstate. So regardless of the healthcare situation you find yourself in, regardless of where your healthcare pops up at, wherever you are when that need pops up, there's a Prisma Health location close to you. How about the fact that they have thousands of healthcare professionals within their network? So you can find the one that can communicate well with you, that you trust, that you like, the one that you can trust your It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for Lonzo's favorite segment each and every week. It is time for Faces and Heels, where Lonzo and I take a look at some socially ambiguous situations. And we have to decide who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. I need you to know, Zoe, I sat Saturday night after the Swamp Rabbits game with a group of staff members from the team. And two of the guys, Jack and Scooty, who we've talked about on the show, they go, dude, I have to bring something up. And I said, what? And he goes, you are wrong about something you said on the show. And I said, what? And he brings up a Faces and Heels from like 4 weeks ago. He's like, it has been bothering me since then. This segment gets people agitated, and I love it. Lonzo's one of them. That's why he loves it so much.
Yeah, I'm elated. You can see me on the screen on the Facebook page right now.
Okay, so I got a couple of really good ones here. Couple of really good ones. You know, ordinarily I'll go find a bunch, and then some of them, it's like after you read them, you're like, oh, well, this one's clearly obvious. I got a couple I don't think are. 28-year-old man has 5 kids with his 32-year-old wife. First off, chill, dude. Relax. Take a nap. Anyway, says, I work about 50 to 60 hours per week, and my wife's a stay-at-home mom. She does the majority of all the house stuff, cooking, cleaning, shopping, etc., etc. So my work scheduled a work bonding fishing trip from Friday night until Sunday over the summer. I said, no way I am going for a number of reasons. First off, on Saturday, I scheduled my wife for some time of treat yourself appointment and send her out to do something without the kids since she has them during the week. Second, I'm not leaving my wife for 2 nights and a day of fishing and drinking. If I want to go fishing, I'll take my 5-year-old twins with me to give my wife less to juggle and create some memories. Third, they called it it's all guys from The Office, by the way. It's all guys. They called it a stag weekend, and I don't trust that phrasing. I know that they are going fishing near a very popular bar and weekend shenanigans spot. My coworkers have been calling me whipped since I said no and saying it'll give them a chance to know me better since I won't go out with them any other night of the week. All my coworkers have wives, kids, significant others, and recommended that we do I recommended we do a family camp out, but they all said, no, we want a boys trip. So, face or heel, the coworkers giving my man the business because he won't go fishing with them for 2 days. Are the coworkers the bad guys here, Zoe?
See, what Faces and Hills actually is, and the reason why I don't like it, because it's all a setup towards me. And
I'll let you go first.
Without a doubt, it's a setup towards me. And I'll go first. I'll go first because I've been in this position, which is why you picked the story. I've been in this position a lot because I don't do all those things. And I've been to, not so much here because I think people have given up. And we have such we have such turnaround. Like I've said before, it's like starting a new job. When we get turnaround, we'll have people here for 4 or 5 years and they're gone, and like a ton of people just leave all at once, and a brand new crew comes in. And now they've gotten younger and younger, and no one wants to hang out with the old guy. So I don't have to deal with it anymore. But even my best friends, who I grew up with, when I got married for bachelor party, they wanted to take me somewhere they knew I would not go. And they still planned it anyway, thinking that they were going to get me there. But one of the guys said, you guys are wasting your time. He's not going to go. He said he's not going to do it. So I think you need to be able to look at people and go, oh, what, we have breaking news?
I know I have an update to this story.
Okay.
This was added on postscript. Apparently, I think he's the heel now. All right, so after this discussion with the coworkers, he apparently sent out a company-wide email including the wives and spouses of all his other coworkers, suggesting instead of the fishing weekend that the whole office, including wives and kids, go on a camping trip together. All the other wives agreed to that, And now the boys' fishing trip has been replaced with a company-wide family camping trip for 2 weeks.
So the coworkers are still the heel. He's a hero because here's what he did. He's been being ribbed forever. Oh, you got to go. You need to lighten up. You need to loosen up. You're not having fun. When people don't realize fun is different for everybody else. Just because this is fun for you doesn't mean it's fun for me. So what he did is he finally went, you know what? Okay. You guys keep messing with me. I said no. You guys could go off and have your fun. You keep messing with me. Let me just do this. I think it was an expert troll, but that doesn't make you a heel. The coworkers are the heels for sure. If I didn't want to do something, but you really wanted me to do something, you know it goes against what I believe in everything. Would you push me to go?
No.
That's what these guys are doing.
But does that mean I wouldn't give you a rub about it? Also, no.
Doesn't mean that you're not being heelish while doing it. That's the whole point of being a heel.
So, the coworkers are not the heels. He is the heel. He's a mega heel. Look, you don't want to go? Cool. Don't go. Understand that. No
all
problem.
right. So no means no. I don't know if you knew that. There's like a slogan and everything for that. No means no.
Correct.
So you don't keep pressuring someone, especially if someone has never went. You need to know, hey, let me put my effort away from that and go do something else.
It doesn't mean I'm not not especially, only if I like you. If I like you, I'm going to give you crap. If I don't like you, I'm not inviting you in the first place, right? I will absolutely invite Lonzo to come watch the Super Bowl with me at a bar. I know he's not going to go, but I like Zoe, so I'm going to at least invite him in case one day he ever catches a wild hair and is like, all right, yeah, let's try it. Let's try it. He's not going to, but I'm going to invite him. If I didn't like you, I wouldn't invite you. They invited this guy, said, hey, dude, 2 days of fishing, just the boys. Are you in? Now, Lonzo, this might not be your bag. My girlfriend this past weekend just took a girls' trip down to St. Pete. I don't know nor care what they did. I trust her. She took a girls' trip. I stayed home with the dog and the cat in the house and tilled a garden for her, right? I don't care.
Was that noticed and appreciated, by the way?
Yes, it was, by the way.
Good for you.
And I can go ahead and tell you that coming up in baseball season, I got a boys trip scheduled where me and a few of the guys are heading to Atlanta for a weekend to do 2 Braves games and a Gwinnett Stripers game. And you know what her reaction
by the
was?
way,
Go have fun.
I'm not interested.
I didn't think you were. I'll invite you again anyway and give you crap for not going because I like you. Now,
If I can just find a way to schedule a family weekend now for everybody here.
right. Now, if an email comes through and it happens to be that weekend and they go, instead, we're doing a company-wide, everybody's invited antiquing weekend. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, because Rob Brown is not passing up on antiquing, obviously.
I actually don't hate antiquing. All right, I found some good stuff. Here's the thing. The boys had a boys trip scheduled. If you don't want to go, don't go. That's fine. Expect some jokes because they like you. It's fine. But the fact that you ruined their boys weekend, because you were mad they were giving you grief as coworkers and boys, that is a blank move, dude.
Will they ever ask him again?
No, you're out. You're done.
Okay.
You're done. You don't get invited to bar night.
Which is what he wanted.
Maybe.
Yes, which is what he wanted.
In which
so
case,
he got what he wanted.
That's a heel move too. Just go. Don't invite me, guys.
Is it
I
not?
don't want to hang out with you.
Maybe some of those guys go, you know what? We went too hard at him. I respect what he did.
No, why are you gonna invite him to anything?
His game is much bigger than ours. Maybe this is on us.
His game is bigger than ours.
Yes.
No, his
yes.
family is bigger than ours. Which I get.
Which there's nothing wrong with.
Listen,
by the way.
no, not at all. My buddy literally just had a kid. I'm like, dude, I realize I'm not going to see you as much. That's fine. I understand that. But don't ruin me and my weekends because you had kids. That's on you. You ruined that for me. All right, let's get another one in here.
You know, your hockey guys, a month from now are going to tell you that
100%.
you were wrong on this.
100%. Texture says, coworkers are the face. If the guy doesn't want to go bond with his coworkers, he can't get mad that they're ribbing him about it. Yeah, I agree.
What is wrong with you people?
Fan, I can't imagine a worse hell on this earth than being forced to spend my free time with other people's kids. Yes. Yes. I'm sure you love your kids, and I'm happy that you love your kids more than you love anything else on earth. I don't. Your kids are just noise machines to me.
Maybe they should have thought of that before they kept going at this guy and going at him and going. He's going to retaliate. He's got to do something to shut him up, and he did.
No, you
those
can't
are
take a
heels.
joke. That's
Heels.
on you.
You're right. They can't take a joke. That's on them.
No, this was
The
not a
ultimate.
joke.
The ultimate joke was on them. It came
Texas
back on
says,
them.
Rob, dude, one difference, you 1%er. He's making it about his family, not himself. I understand that. I get that. But
I mean, he
understand
could
that-
have said what he wanted to say. These guys are going out and carousing at that bar, and who knows what they're doing outside the family. He could have said all that, but he didn't do that.
What a crap assumption to make about somebody. If I invite Lonzo to a
Did,
bar and
did
you
he
say
not
no,
just kind of say that in the story?
Yeah, he said that about his coworkers.
Yeah.
With no justification, because
Well-
he also said, I don't go out with them.
Well, Rob,
There is
I mean, you know,
nothing.
I don't go out with anybody around here. Doesn't mean I don't know dirt.
Right. I agree. But if I say, Zoe, do you want to go to the bar this weekend? And you say no, and I go, you're missing out. Do you go, Courtney, Rob's with somebody else behind your back? No, because that's a terrible thing to do.
By the way, you asking me to go to the bar would offend me
You want to go
because
to the bar this weekend?
because see, you know, I don't like that stuff. Right.
I get it.
But you're laughing when you say it, even though it might be
'Cause
hurtful
it's
to
a
ask
rib.
me.
Because it's
You're
clearly
right.
a joke.
You're right. That's what heels do.
See, I told you. I told you he has to come in. Texter says, Rob, you are the ultimate noise machine. That's true. All right, 32-year-old woman. 32-year-old man, 33-year-old wife. They finally bought their own home. And they did a lot of fix-me-up, including fixing up the swimming pool that is behind it. Says the issue is my next door neighbors. I have multiple times found their kids using our pool, having hopped our fence. I have asked them to leave multiple times. I have told the parents about the issue, and they've told me that the elderly couple we bought the home from let the kids use the pool in exchange for cleaning it, so they're just being able to use it. I told them that was fine, but we are not the old neighbor. They are not allowed to use it anymore because of insurance, right? The kids come over, they slip on the pool deck, they crack the coconut open. You're on the hook for like a lot of money.
Or worst case scenario, they come over at night and they drown or something. Yeah.
And you're on the hook forever. So she said, I'm sorry that the old neighbor lets you use the pool, but I'm not going to do that. Your kids cannot come into my backyard anymore to use my pool. She says now those parents are going up and down the neighborhood saying that I'm a selfish, self-centered, bad person because the kids used to work to clean the pool. The parents said, if you will let them keep using the pool, they will come over and take care of the pool, clean it, shock it, sweep it, vacuum it, whatever. They will be your pool service to keep using the pool. She said, no, I'm not good with that. I feel like this is an obvious one, Zoe, but I also know some people think their kids just deserve things. Face and heel.
Well, the parent who thinks their kids should be allowed to come over and go onto someone else's property and do something just because they used to. New tenants come in and you know they're obviously the heel if they're going up and down the neighborhood talking stuff about them. You know what she did. You know what she won't. Yeah, that's kind of heel. It pretty much is.
That's a heel move.
Couple things that would have solved it. First, don't move into a neighborhood. But if you do, barbed wire on top of the fence, that might, I'm just saying that might take care of that. Maybe.
Dexter says, I don't go out anymore with workers. Used to bring wives, now they don't. One guy got it stopped because of his fat, unattractive What? You just stopped it because one person had a wife you didn't find attractive?
Well,
What?
I think he just wanted to see if you would read that.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. All right, here's one. Lonzo, you and I are both tall dudes, right? We're both big dudes.
We are above average. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Guy says, I am a tall dude. I was on a flight, and the lady in front of me kept pushing her seat back to the max it would recline and then kept rocking it back and forth to try to go backwards. He says, after she slammed her chair into my knee enough times, I ended up crossing my legs, which means that she had to push her chair up and could not lean back as far as she wanted. Once she noticed, she abruptly looked behind me, and I ignored her. She then asked her husband to make me uncross my legs. He stood up and looked at my seat and then sat down. I ignored him too. He got up once again and then used his words. They were being passive-aggressive, just looking with the old, like, over-the-shoulder, like, come on, dude. And said, can you move your legs so she can lean back? She has a right. It's within her chair's reach. If not, I'll call the flight attendant. I said, please call the flight attendant. I had been uncomfortable the entire flight. He sat back down, and they switched seats, but called me names. Face and heel. Lady just wants to recline her seat, but taller than average guy is going, you are killing my knees, woman.
Wow.
Stop.
This one's hard. This is the hardest one in a while. It really is.
Because I understand both sides entirely, for the record.
I've never flown before, but I do understand about being in places where you don't have a lot of leg room.
Yep.
And I have a touch of claustrophobia, which leads to anger. So I could see where tall guys having a problem with it. But those seats are allowed to recline to a certain level, and so she has the right to recline it. I mean, it's not her fault you're tall. So I'm going to go with dude who put his knees up to stop her from reclining as the heel, because we have to have a heel.
We do.
Because they both are equal in this, but since we have to name a heel because those are the rules that Rob has put out there,
It's more fun that way.
I'm going to go with the tall guy.
Okay, she's a heel, and let me tell you why. And I'm saying this is the most respectful you're wrong I've ever given you, because you haven't been on an airplane, so you don't know. Okay? An airplane chair, if you are in a regular seat, like a coach seat, and most of us fly coach because airlines are expensive. Lonzo, your chair reclines about that much. Genuinely, like it legit goes from there to about there. That's it.
It's not very much. No,
No, it's not. It's really not. But I will also tell you, as someone who goes 6'3 and a half, you got about that much leg room. About yay much. All right? When I fly, I will pay the extra $30 or whatever it is to make sure I have an aisle seat so I can turn my legs out into the aisle whenever possible.
You could always man spread, man. I mean, it
You
depends
really
on who you
can't,
sit next to. You can't man spread.
The seats are next to each other. So if there's somebody in the seat next to you, there's nowhere for the legs to go if you're my height or your height. There's just not. So I have basically come down to this philosophy over the years. Do whatever you need to do to get comfortable when in transit, unless you are physically impacting someone else that cannot help themselves, right? I am 6'3". There is nowhere for my legs to go. If you can't recline your seat the 1.5 or 2 inches that plane seats recline, I don't know what to tell you. Sucks to be you, but I can't have your chair digging into and jamming my thighs back into my body so you can recline the 2 inches an airplane seat. Don't. It sucks. I'm sorry.
Why doesn't an airline come out with a tall people plane?
You know what some of them are doing? Here, I'll give you the ultimate heel. We'll agree on this. Some of the airlines are looking and they're starting to make seats that the seat of the airplanes, though, is angled down, right? So when you sit on it, your back goes straight up, your butt doesn't really sit so much as presses into, and your legs go down like this. It's almost like a wall sit you had to do in basketball, but it's just angled up enough that it doesn't work out your thighs. But they're, instead of going, why don't we space out the seats 3 more inches, they're going, no. How about we compress the people more? That's the ultra heel move.
You would think after COVID that they would realize, hey, spacing people out's not a bad thing, and just take out a couple rows of seats. But
yeah,
you know.
Take out 2 rows of seats. Take out 7, 8, 9 seats. Make everybody's life better. Everybody's life better. That's the ultimate heel move. All right, that's going to do it. Not because I don't have more, but because we're out of time. We should do a Faces and Heels podcast. Have fun with that.
Yeah, I got stuff to do.
Lonzo turning up the music to prevent me from going down that road. Come back and wrap up the show next. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is the Fan Upstate. We're back, stream. Thanks for hanging out.
That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active
Radio segments after we get a CBS Sports Radio update. Fernando Bogusch.
It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results in $0 for your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
This week at Macy's, give love, give style with an extra 25% off gifts for Mother's Day when you use your coupon or Macy's card. Plus great deals on fragrance sets from mom's favorite brands like Carolina Herrera, YSL, and more. Or shop super buys like diamond hoop earrings for $999 and specials like 60% off bathrobes. Plus get contact-free curbside pickup.
Hey, Lonzo, you want to go to the Megadeth concert tomorrow?
I saw that.
I'm
Wow.
going. I'm 100% going. I can't wait. And I think I told you this. I'm dressing in cowboy gear to go. I've got to MC the Meet the Triumph event tomorrow at at Hampton Station. And as soon as that's over, I'm riding straight to it.
All the ones who get it done. With 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise in the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback, and by adding it to your policy, for driving safe just by being
Sean Sapp
Allstate.
just tweeted, "We've learned of a notable WWE talent that has asked for their release recently. More news and who it is coming to FightfulSelect.com this afternoon." And the first response was, "It's Elias. He hates that everyone loves his brother more than him."
We're all on this planet together. So join Odyssey and find your one thing. When planning your summer vacation, pick a destination close to where you live to limit your use of fuel. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
All right, time for Twitter trending topics where I tell Rob what is trending and he will tell us why. The first thing that's trending, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but we'll find out in a moment. Mike Tyson is trending.
So we haven't really gotten a chance to talk about it, and I'm sure that this isn't unrelated, but I feel the need to bring it up anyway. Video emerged of that guy that Mike Tyson beat the hell out of the airplane, and it turns out, Lonzo, Mike was absolutely justified in doing it. I don't know if you've seen the video.
I have it.
So this little dude, this little twerp, is basically, the story was Mike asked the guy to stop annoying him, and the guy wouldn't stop annoying him. But it wasn't like he was like, "Hey, Mike, remember when you fought so-and-so? That was awesome," right? The guy is standing over Mike's seat, and he's like leaning up around him, and he's like, "Yo, Mike, what up, what up?" Like getting into his personal bubble. Mike multiple times was like, "Dude, you got to stop. You got to stop." And he kept like, when I say in his bubble, I mean like lips to ears in Mike's spot. You got to understand, if you do that to Mike Tyson in a contained, inescapable vacuum tube in the sky, you're going to catch hands from Iron Mike. Iron Mike went from, "Hey, Mike's doing all right," to, "Mike, you can't beat up dudes on a plane," to, "Mike, you can absolutely beat up that dude on a plane in 3 days. I'm back on team Mike Tyson now."
All right, so we talked about this a little bit on the Upstate Pulse. I don't know if you probably know this. There was a song, "I Think I Could Beat Mike Tyson," which was from Will Smith, which is ironically funny. For some reason, people think that they can do that now because there's been another incident.
Sure.
He's walking in Vegas, going into an event. Some guy reaches over his head and pulls Tyson's head. Look it up. And Tyson turns real quick. I mean, he goes from chill Tyson to
Iron Mike
I'm
Tyson.
hitting somebody.
Yeah.
And they got that guy out of there real quick.
So here's why I feel bad for Mike.
So people are going to start doing that, and someone's really going to
Bingo.
get hurt.
Here's why I feel bad for Mike. Why I feel bad for Mike is because in this stupid ass influencer generation where everybody gets famous online for doing nothing, you have now created a world where people go agitate and physically harass Mike Tyson with the objective of get their ass kicked by Mike Tyson and get famous on the internet, right? So now we live in a world where Mike Tyson is going to be constantly harassed physically for clicks. I'm going to go ahead and say this, Zoe. Elect me to Congress because I'm passing the Iron Mike rule. Where if you, and it only applies to Mike Tyson, if you physically harass Mike Tyson to film it and put it on the internet, nobody gets to tell Mike when he's done. Nobody gets to tell Mike when to stop beating your ass. Mike gets to go until Mike goes, I feel like you've earned it.
Someone needs to point out to these people, Tyson's been to prison before. He ain't afraid of going back. And if you keep pushing him, he probably will end up hurting somebody really, really bad.
Yeah, new rule. If you walk up and you grab, push, punch, or harass Mike Tyson gets to beat the snot out of you until he's too tired to keep going, and you're responsible for your medical bills.
He's in good shape now, too. So
I wouldn't.
It'd be a while before he got tired.
I wouldn't mess with Mike. Stop. Leave Mike alone. That's it for us. Jim Rome's next. Mark Ryan after that. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another outstanding edition of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Later, brother.
You should look up the video.
I'm going to. Thanks for watching. Stream. See you tomorrow. Bye.